Just as news of the very first naval engagement between the United States Navy and France are arriving, we are about to show the British that their colonial mindset has led them to severely underestimate our firepower. American Marines are ready to land near Port-au-Prince, and we are sending the heavy hitters into our own backyard, so to land naval invasion forces behind the British lines that are currently trying to invade the Dominican Republic. At the same time, strong British forces from British Guyana are trying to capture Venezuela, so that's another battlefield that we will have to deal with. Our submarine picket lines have radioed in major naval force movements across the North Atlantic. It looks like the German Navy is out in force, and the British and French as well are heading towards the Caribbean. It looks like this particular conflict is going to be fought on the American continent. A British light cruiser has been spotted trying to intercept some of the invasion convoys, and has been intercepted by the screening force of the major battle fleet that is currently busy shelling British positions in the Dominican Republic. The New Haven and her battle group have chased down the British cruiser that has tried to run at the site of the friendly battle group. I'm not sure what that is, but it seems to be a very heavily torpedo-armed British light cruiser, which is not going to do him any good because the New Haven is a gunboat. That's a Brooklyn class, so load the armor piercing and let him have it. The enemy light cruiser has laid smoke and is trying to escape, but I think our radio direction finders are still having her signal. We will try to intercept and sink her before she can get into range and report her findings back to the main fleet. And we're back in range. New Haven is opening up at the enemy cruiser, and despite the fact that she's got the smoke screen on, I think a couple of good hits are going to slow her right down. This is going to be up to the light cruisers because the standard type battleships have no chance in heck to even get into range of this cruiser. She is fast, but she's not quite as fast as us. The smokescreen and the setting sun is making gunnery quite difficult, but we have regardless landed a couple of smaller hits and caused minor damage on the superstructure. Still, we're going to need a good hit or two to slow her down, and eventually the smoke will run out. She is returning fire with her rear turrets, but I don't think she has got torpedo angles, so at least in that we shouldn't be having to worry about. And we've landed a couple of hits on the stern, but I don't think that's quite enough yet to slow her down. Haven't identified the ship yet, but okay, now we're starting to land some hits here. Torpedo detonation, it's the Pallas, the light cruiser Pallas. Oh, she has torpedoes. She had torpedoes away in the rear. I did not know she had stern torpedo tubes, but good that we we should hopefully avoid most of these. I have no chance to do anything further. I'm not sure if these torpedoes are gonna hit anywhere. The Atlanta might take one. Yes, the Atlanta has taken a torpedo hit. That means we are gonna have to detach her. So from that battle line we are going to have to detach that. That's the New Haven. New Haven has closed in so she can She can try, and at this point, I mean, overtaking is going to be dangerous. But I think the Pallas has slowed right down. So let's get Reno to pass by the other side, and Atlanta has taken a torpedo hit, so she is going to go retreat, and Salem is still going to go for the chase. New Haven can slow down. There come the torpedoes. Hard to starboard. Slow down to 25 knots. And the Reno is going to pass by the other side. But I hope that the New Haven can manage to take 2 torpedoes, but both of them were duds. So lucky there. But now we are in point blank range, and this is a very dead light cruiser. Okay, there come some torpedoes. These are faster torpedoes than what the Japanese have fielded. So Reno, emergency reverse, and hard to port, but I think that's probably gonna hurt. Okay, that was 2 torpedo hits on the Reno. Quite a bit of casualties here on our side. But we have the Pallas has surrendered, and after that last torpedo spread, and the ship itself has been taken over and scuttled. In the second engagement, the Higgins, escorting a vital transport with radio equipment, has been intercepted by a British destroyer. We will have to defend the transport, and we'll see how our light forces are matching up. The Higgins is a Farragut class destroyer, and as such a reasonably capable gunboat. So while our transport is going to try and disengage, we are going to try and see if we can find that British destroyer, and we'll see if we can take her on. That light cruiser that we've been fighting earlier was definitely more dangerous than it looked. So do have to be careful in getting into close range engagements with these things. They are a lot sturdier than they look, and lots and lots of torpedoes on them. We'll see what the destroyers are like. And we have made contact. There she is. Where's our transport? I think transport is relatively safely away. So we're gonna get. There might be torpedoes. There will be torpedoes in the water. So let's see if we can bait them into. Okay, they are smoking, and they have dropped torpedoes relatively early. So there might be more torpedoes. I don't know what these things are capable of. Yeah, there are 2 spreads of 4, from what I can see, or actually 1 spread of 5 and a spread of 3 probably. We should be able to clear the spread of 5 without too much trouble. She's currently hiding in the smoke screen, but we've got the 5-inch guns ready, and we've still got torpedoes, whereas they are out. So let's see if we can close the range and maybe finish her off with some torpedoes if we can make it there. I'm not sure if they're going to sit in the smoke screen, but either way it's going to be. There she is. Where is she going? She is. Where is she? Okay, we've lost contact again. She seems to be running for it, but Higgins can make 35 knots, and I think she should be able to catch her. I just don't know if there are any more torpedoes in the water, but we are going to charge that smoke screen. There she is, and yes, she is. She's sailing away. Oh, we've lost visual again. Trying to see how many torpedo launches she has, but can't quite see that from here. So, well, we'll just give chase and see if we can catch her in her smoke. Okay, there she is. She has used the smoke screen to change course, and I am going to maintain an intercept course with this and see if we can. Yeah, we're not going to get into a torpedo. We're not going to get into a torpedo angle. Actually, the opposite. They are going to get into a relatively good torpedo angle. So they are deciding to move away. What are these things capable of? I see 2 gun turrets maybe, and a couple smaller guns. So definitely more of a torpedo boat then, I'd say. But I'm not sure how fast she is, and I don't even know what that ship's called. So Higgins is just going to give chase for now. We're not going to use our own smoke screen and try to land some hits and slow her down. But small, fast target, difficult to hit. We might have the advantage with the twin super firing turrets forward, and that should give us more guns than what the British can bear on their stern. So at least in that regard we should have the advantage. It's just that we have to manage to hit that thing, and target being in smoke is not helping. The British certainly have the better gunnery. We are taking hits quite repeatedly from their small arms fire. The Vendetta has 5.1 inch guns, surprisingly large caliber for British, but I don't think they can fire them backwards. So I think what we're taking here is 2-inch gunfire from their AA guns. So unfortunately, she's also pretty quick, so we can't. I think that thing's actually faster than us. So if she wants to disengage, she is going to get away, and there's not an awful lot we can do about it. I think the British have miscalculated. She has turned around in her smoke screen and is now engaging the Higgins. Maybe they realized that they wouldn't be getting away. So we are going to go in for a torpedo attack if possible. And I think that was a grave mistake that the British have made here. Let's see if we can. She is still relatively fast, but let's see if we can manage to pass her after she's made her turn and get the torpedo tubes away, because I'm not sure the British still have torpedoes actually. So they've got a lot of launches, but not too sure they still have torpedoes. And at this range, Higgins should be able to hit her with the 5-inchers despite the smoke screen. So yeah, miscalculation there. I'm not sure what they were trying to do, but maybe they realized they couldn't get away and ended up going in for the fight after all. So now it's just a matter of, we've sent out the torpedoes, but I think these torpedoes are going to be avoided, unfortunately. Yeah, she is going to be able to avoid the torpedoes relatively easily. So now it's coming down to catching her at point blank and getting those guns on target. Honestly, the gunnery has not been impressive from the Farragut's crew so far. We're actually running relatively low on shells. We've got plenty of HE shells, but we've fired so many armor piercing on target that there's just... and we haven't landed a single hit so far. Okay, we are finally starting to land some hits now. I have switched to the high explosive, so that should be hopefully enough, because we're running a little bit low on armor piercing shells. That should hopefully be enough to just slow her down a bit, because it's starting to be a bit embarrassing, the amount of shells that we've fired on target versus the actual amount of hits that we've scored. So we do need to keep closing in, because she is faster than us, but at least we have started a fire and got some minor hits in. So that gives me hope that we may be able to actually land a couple more. And once again, she is going for what looks like a feinted torpedo run. So let's we don't have torpedoes reloaded, but let's close in, because I don't think they have torpedoes, otherwise they would have launched them last time. So let's close in to point blank range and see if we can get some armor piercing shells on target. I think the Farragut needs to rearm when this is over, because she is running a bit low on ammunition, and she's having a devil of a time hitting that British destroyer. There we go. Now we're talking. Flooding, penetrating hits, and now that we're in point blank range, we should be able to do a couple more. She is returning the favor, and Higgins is now taking hits as well, but I think she is going to be able to hopefully overtake her now when she's taking out water in the stern. We're over penetrating with the armor piercing, so let's try the high explosive shells. I don't want to throw off the gunners, so for now I'm just going to stay the course and see if we can start some fires and get some partial penetrations with the HE. Higgins is taking on some water in the stern, but now we've got her in our sights, really. And she is taking on a lot of water now. I think the last couple of the couple of overpenetrating shots. Let's use the rest of the armor piercing. She is taking on a lot of water, both in bow and stern. The overpenetrating shots have should have caused quite some damage, and I think that's finally it. Very difficult to catch these British destroyers, and it takes a couple. It takes some perseverance and a couple lucky hits to get them. But I think she's now flooding. Yeah, that was another overpenetrating hit, and she is sinking due to heavy flooding. Yeah, the Farraguts are struggling a bit to get their guns on target. Not quite sure what that was about.